yeah! God, I love it when you stop by. I'm John Zidar, aka the Stock Wizard. This is On Top and Hot, where we like to focus in on hot penny stocks. Because I'm a day trader, I primarily trade options and stocks under $5. And I'm always looking for a hot penny stock to share with you so we can both cash in on it. How nice is that? Well, I got one for us today. This is Airway Inc., ticker YYAI. The reason Airway got on my radar is I kept seeing that ticker everywhere I went. Not a lot, but I just kept seeing it, which got my curiosity up. So I did some due diligence and research, and lo and behold, surprise, surprise, I've already covered this stock. I just didn't remember. Well, no duh. It was over a year and a half ago, March of 2024, I covered YYAI. And the reason we covered it then, she had just changed her ticker because she had entered into an acquisition merger agreement with YYAI Enterprises, an AI company that they had just purchased 20% of. The reason we're looking at it now, they just completed that acquisition merger with YYAI Enterprises. Wow, took a year and a half, folks. And it's a very big deal because everything has changed. Back then, the company was a sporting company. They were dealing with products, technology, and services for pickleball, paddleball, tennis, things like that. They had a lot of subsidiaries, including Slinger. But then they got into AI, which didn't quite work with the business they were in. And I've got news to share with you, so let's jump into that. This first piece of news here comes from November of last year. Connexa Sports has received NASDAQ's approval for continued listing. I didn't know they were in jeopardy. Following their acquisition of an additional 50% stake in YYAI Enterprises, giving the company now 70% stake in this AI company, making them the major stakeholder. YYAI was established as an AI company back in 2021 when AI was just getting going. And back then, they were working in the love and marriage sector as matchmakers. A little frivolous for AI, wouldn't you say? But you can use matchmaking for a lot of other things than just people, and they are. They've got intellectual property. They've got 6 metaverse technology patents. They also have 5 AI matchmaking patents that they're going to be put into use in bigger arenas here. Following the acquisition, Connexa had undergone a change of control, appointed new officers and directors, and completed a spin-off of the Slinger bag business. They are getting out of sports and into something else. But what is it that they're getting into? Well, before we jump into that, let me show you 2 more pieces of news as we wave bye-bye to the sporting part of Connexa. In January and February, Connexa made a deal over in the MENA region of the world. That is the Middle East and North Africa. They made a deal with TikTok, and they're going to continue growing wherever they are at, but it has nothing to do with us anymore. What we are looking at now is a piece of news that came out in August, 6 months later. Connexa and Jucoin signed a $500 million agreement to launch a new cryptocurrency exchange focused on real-world assets, RWA. Connexa Sports and Jucoin Capital have filed a $500 million definitive agreement with the SEC to establish Airway, a digital asset platform focused on real-world asset tokenization. The joint venture will be equally funded by both companies, with each contributing $250 million in cash and digital assets. The platform aims to digitize traditional investments like real estate, government bonds, and fine art, making them more accessible to both institutional and retail investors. Now, moving on to the next piece of news, it seems they're focusing in more and more on what it is they're really going to be doing. Connexa Sports signs a contract with Inca Digital to strengthen security framework for AI RWA exchange, Airway. Connexa Sports has signed a service agreement with Inca Digital to enhance security and compliance for Airway exchange platform. This development follows Connexa's recent $500 million joint venture with Jucoin Capital to create a tokenized real-world assets exchange. Inca Digital known for working with major companies like PayPal, will provide ecosystem mapping, threat intelligence, market analysis, and actionable outcomes. The collaboration complements the existing partnership where Jucoin provides the digital finance expertise and Connexa contributes governance experts as a U.S. listed company. And then we've got two pieces of news that came out this month in October, just about a week ago. Our first one was on the 6th, where the company tells us they have legitimately renamed themselves to YYAI Inc., as well as confirming their first $100 million investment. Then the very next day, they tell us they received $30 million of Solana tokens. This is to prime their exchange. This is to get it going, as well as successfully test running it, making sure everything's working properly. YYAI said it received approximately 30 million in Solana tokens to bolster the YYAI exchange and to make Solana a core asset for major trading pairs. So I don't do this, but I understand it kinda. Trading pairs are when you take two securities and put them side by side, maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum, or the US dollar and Bitcoin, and you trade the arbitrage between the two, the price difference. The best way to think about it is when you go on vacation, let's say you're going from the United States to Europe, well, you're going to have to exchange your US dollars for euros. Well, the only way you know the value of your euros is to have a base currency. The dollars is going to tell you what your euros are worth. That's how you know the value, and that's how you figure out the arbitrage, and that's how you'll make your money trading, is with Solana up against another security, and you trade the difference between the two. Test runs successfully settled trades of tokenized U.S. equities, positioning the exchange to offer digital representations of U.S. stocks with near instant blockchain settlement. No one-day waiting? Ooh, I'd like that. The exchange plans an initial rollout to around 4 million users from joint venture partner Jucoin and will offer major cryptocurrencies alongside tokenized equities accessible 24/7. So you're going to be able to trade this anytime you want. YYAI described the move as a strategy to target cryptocurrency users and to merge blockchain speed with U.S. stock market access. Now, folks, there's a lot of information here I have not gone over because there's just too much and we haven't got that much time. So I'm counting on you to do your due diligence behind me. I've shown you where the news is. Get in there and read it. They got a lot going on right now. They are out of sports, moving into Solana, opening up their own exchange, and are going to be working with trading pairs. And that's all happening right now. So we're going to get some information now on this major exchange stock over here at the OTCmarkets.com website. Kind of weird, right? Believe it or not, the OTCmarkets.com website carries every single stock on the market. I don't care if it's on the OTC, major exchange, expert market, gray market. It could be a warrant. It could be a right. Look, if it's on the market, it is covered by this site. Now, I'm not saying they've got all the information about every single stock, but they've got every single stock, which makes this a great place to start your due diligence. Wouldn't you agree? So let's take a look at the relative volume now for YYAI. Over the last 30 days, she's been doing about 135 million shares. On Friday, she kicked that way up to 242 million. Share structure for YYAI. Outstanding share count is way down there, less than 15 million. I do not know what the insiders own, but I'm sure they own something. Subtract that from the outstanding share count, and that gives you your float, the number of shares on the market, and I'm sure it's going to be low. But even if the insiders don't own one share, it can't be any higher than the outstanding share count. Can't be any more than 14.5 million, which I think is an excellent share count. No problem there. Market cap, we are currently at 1.7 million, way down there. Financials for YYAI. Sure, they've got financials. They've been making money over the last 4 years, but this was for Connexa. Connexa's gone. This is YYAI now, right? So this doesn't matter. This takes us up till April of this year. They did have another financial come out September of this year, and I want to look at the assets since revenue isn't going to be there yet. Current assets, what we have in the bank right now. We got about $52,000. Total assets for the company, we're at about 35 million. Total liabilities is at $7 million. So we are holding stockholder equity. This ain't no bag, even though they're not making money at this very moment. We are holding $28 million in stockholder equity. Looking good. Taking a look now at our disclosures. Boy, oh boy, we got lots of filings here, folks. There are just lots of information about this deal, and I'm not going into any of them. The only filing I'm going to jump into is this Form 4. This was filed on the 15th. Form 4s are filed whenever an insider acquires or disposes of the company's stock. And they can do that in a lot of different ways. I'm really interested when they buy them or sell them, because that can be an indicator for me. The insiders know news before I do, and they're going to respond before that news is even posted, right? So if I see a big sale or a big purchase, to me, that is an indicator that I need to pay attention to. Well, we just had a big insider buy here from Anthony Belfiore. He is a 10% owner of the company. He just bought himself another 3 million shares, which is just a little over $1 million worth. He just did that 4 days ago. So to me, that's a big indicator. I need to be paying attention to this company. So should you. Now, the most important thing I want to share with you is the chart, because the chart fell from $50 down to 12 cents, and there's a lot of room in between those two numbers for us to take. You want some of it? So do I. Let's go take a look at that chart. Y'all ready to do some charting? You ready to have some fun? Come on now, charting is fun compared to reading press releases and filings by a long shot. So we are looking at ticker YYAI on my free trading platform, Thinkorswim, aka my playground, which you can only get from Schwab. So I've got this opened up to a 2-year, 1-day chart so that you can see that hot period back in March and April of 2024 when they changed their ticker to YYAI and they bought 20% of the AI company. Think the investors were excited? Just a little bit. They were flat here at around $5 for like 3 months, and then she started climbing day after day, pushing toward that 200-day MA and finally breaking through it, hitting a high of $53, over 1,000% run. Now, we knew she was going to come back down because you don't have breakouts over top of a falling 200. It just doesn't happen. Very, very rare. So when she came back down, she didn't come all the way back down. She started at 5. She came back down to 10, which is a nice landing, right? She continued climbing ever so slowly, took a crouch before the pounce at the 200, looking like she was ready to run, and she didn't. She failed to take the breakout here, which was a little heartbreaking. She fell back up underneath that 200 from $18 down to $1. Then worked her way back up, looking promising, and then took another hard fall down to our 52-week low of 11 cents. Ay, ay, ay. Let's come on down to our 1-year chart. Our 1-year chart gives us a 52-week high of $6.33. She fell hard here from about $5 down to $1. Pretty much went sideways in a 200 squeeze, right? She's right there in the middle between the 200 haul and the 200 MA, and then took it. When they finally all got close enough, she took off from about $1 up to, it says 538 here, and then she rolled back down to that 200. After the initial breakout, we expect a bounce. She bounced. She took off looking like she was ready to run, and what the hell happened here? She drops again from about $2.80 all the way down to 12 cents, dribbling down to 11 cents, and hanging out down there with everything that's going on. Why ain't she moving? I don't know. I think she's ready to, though. Lots of red volume here. Doesn't look good. All of our oscillators are really pushing down right now. Our RSI is in the basement down there at 28. Everything looks really bad on the yearly chart. I got to admit that. I can't lie. Let's come on down to our 6-month, 4-hour view. So here's our 200. It was falling, came down and got flat. We had that breakout attempt, right? She was in a 200 squeeze on top of the 50 with the 200 haul rising, went to and through the 200-day MA. She jumped here from roughly 60 cents up to, wow, $2.20. So you got over a 300% run there. But then she came back down and she's just been meandering around the 200. There's some bumps and jumps in there, but nothing to get excited about. Not until here when she went from $1 up to, right? It wasn't just 532, it's 714. I don't know where that came from, but it was short-lived. And when she hit it, she got scared and fell all the way down underneath the 200. That high pushed this stock underneath the 200 all the way down here to $1 again. She came back up, but just scribbled on down, and she's been struggling just to hang on. And then we had another fall just about a week ago from $2.40 down to that 12 cents, and now we're down there at 11 cents. All of our oscillators look like they're trying to come back. They're pretty much flat right now. But what I see here is very interesting. What we've got here is a divergence on our MACD, and it looks like our RSI as well. We sure do. Okay, folks, our price is actually falling. You can see all the lines are falling, and the price has gone from 12 cents to 11. So it's not climbing and it's not flat. It is falling a little bit. Our PPO is falling, but our MACD is climbing strong. But look at the green bars here. They're all falling. Our line is climbing, everything else is falling, but not the RSI. Look at the RSI. It is in the basement. It's in a horrible place. It's all the way down here. Ooh, it's like 18. That's cold, folks. 30 is the floor. We're down here at 18, but it's climbing. Folks, whatever the price is doing, normally everything else is doing too. If it's rising, all the techs are rising. The RSI is rising. If the price is falling, everything is falling. What is this all about? This is a divergence. This is showing you what could happen as an imminent reversal. It's like an undercurrent. And when it does snap back into place, how does it do it? It snaps toward the MACD, which is saying it's going to start climbing. The MACD is climbing, everything else is falling, so everything will switch to the climb of the MACD and start to push up. It looks to me like we are right at the cusp of everything about ready to change, and that divergence is the only good sign I have, and it is not a guarantee. Let's come on down to our 20-day, 1-hour view. So she's on top of the 200, took that crouch, took a nice jump, took a big ride up, looked like she was going to go to the moon, and then she crashed. From that $3.55, she fell down here to 18 cents, went across all of the MAs, the 9, the 20, the 200, the 50. She's over everything. She's at 11 cents right now, and we are at a perfect 200 squeeze breakout right there, folks. She is just underneath the 50. Once she gets on top of that 50 with a rising 200, a haul and a falling 200 MA, I fully expect 9 out of 10 chance for this to take off. With all the news that just occurred, I expect this to take off. With 30 million coming in Solana to this company, I expect it to take off. With a new investor just putting $1 million into this company just last week, I expect this to take off. So right now would be an excellent time to get a starter position. Just get some of what you want. She could fall some more. I don't think she will, but she could. And you'd like to get the stock cheaper if you could. But if this is the floor, you get your starter position. That means the next time you buy shares, you're going to have to pay more for them. Right? Well, I know a lot of people that hate doing that. Don't you worry about it, folks. Buy your shares. If that stock is climbing, you're making money on every share regardless how much you paid for them. Let's take a look now at our 5-day, 5-minute. Oh, that's not looking very juicy. She's been falling the entire time from 20 cents down to that 11 cents, 12 cents right now. Our 200 is flat. It's been flat a couple times in this fall. That hasn't seemed to make any real difference. But all the news is out now, folks. All the pieces are in place. It's ready to move. We're not waiting for anything now. I'm thinking it's a great time. But of course, I didn't cover everything. You've got some due diligence to do there. Remember, folks, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. See ya.